Hello and welcome to the little fun character creation only video that has been clipped directly from the beginnings of our playthrough as sort of a standalone, as sort of something that if you want to see it, here it is. If you don't want to see me fiddling around with this, makes it a lot easier to skip by. Nonetheless, if you're here, rest assured you're among other freaks and weirdos. Now, speaking of freaks and weirdos, it is common for a lot of people, especially in Oblivion, but not limited to Oblivion, people like to make their character look really weird and goofy. Me? I ain't about that life. I try and make mine look somewhat realistic within the world, right? I'm debating, as you can see already, we're defaulting to the native Imperial population. I'm debating, do I want to look akin to a remastered character, or do I want to try and look as potato as possible, right? And try and really evoke the original release of the game. I'm not sure. We'll see. But nonetheless, I have actually messed around a little bit at the start of the game here, just to make sure it runs properly and all that stuff, get things sort of configured, at least as best as I can. Nonetheless, we have some new options, right? This was not present in the original game, Origin. You can choose one of two little backgrounds, and they do actually have statistical implications. And the reason for that, and I think this is a good thing, right, on both counts. What it used to be that gave you this, we'll just look here for Imperial, right? I'm like 98% sure that this is the case. It used to be, in Oblivion, and Morrowind before it, and I'm sure others before, there were gendered stat distributions, right? So in the case of Imperial, one of these would have been what would have been the old, like, male option. The other one, the old female option, right? So as you can see, you decide what you're wanting to have nerfed, right? Do you want 10 less points of willpower, 10 less points of speed? And it varies depending on who you are, right? 10 less points of endurance, less of personality. I think some of them may change the buff that you get. Oh yeah, like for instance, Red Guards here. Yeah, for this version of Red Guard, you don't get the personality debuff, but you also don't get a buff to strength. However, if you go with this Origin for Red Guard, you get bonus strength, but less personality. Right? But I think it's super cool. It leans into more of like the... I don't know. The Origin lets you explain some more of the geopolitical situation in Tamriel. Right? It gives you more information. As far as I know, there won't be any other reactivity to this. It's merely a way to sort of replace, like I said, choosing male or female, which I think is a good thing. It allows you a lot more freedom over your character creation, right? If you don't want to start as a character who, like, for instance, has maybe lower, right? If you want high health as a Nord, you would have to, I think it would be, you would have to start as a masculine type Nord, right? All feminine type Nords would have to start with, like, low endurance, right? Same goes for, like, if you want to be a Nord who's a bit better at spellcasting with higher willpower, you would have to be a feminine Nord, right? If you wanted to start out with that 10-point bonus. But here, you can kind of have your cake and eat it, and you get some cool lore in the background as well, right? You get a cool little bit of stuff. Some of which I think is reflected directly by ESO, Elder Scrolls Online. Anyway, we may as well look through these real quick. We'll just do a quick read. Imperial, of course, like we'd mentioned, natives of the civilized cosmopolitan province of Cyrodiil. They have proved to be shrewd diplomats and traders. They're skilled with heavy armor and in the social skills, and tend to favor the warrior classes. And your origin can be Nibene. You are a true Imperial, born into the heart of the Empire. The number of cities and their size led you to travel hastily. Or you can be from Calovia. You know, the people with the cool hats. Calovia inhabitants, such as yourself, are known for their autonomy, including toward the rest of the Empire. Your Is that a typo? Yeah, it must be. You inherited the willfulness of your forebearers. Alright. We'll start from the right and move our way further left. Got Wood Elves Bosmer. The clanfolk of the western Valenwood forests, also known as Bosmer, Wood Elves are nimble and quick, making them good scouts and thieves. And there are no finer archers in all of Tamriel. Their ability to command simple creatures is well known. Are there actually, like, height differences as well? It doesn't look like it here, but maybe it's evened out just for the sake of character creation. We'll see when we get into the game itself. Anyway, Reaper's March. This stuff, I think this is unique to ESO. This is all lore that got developed for ESO. And it doesn't really exist much in any of the mainline games, right? The core single-player games. Let's see. Reaper's March. The border region that saw you grow is plagued by anger and resentment after centuries of war. You quickly learned how to soothe people and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Grotwood. You spent your childhood in Grotwood, near the region devastated by Molag Bal. Oh yeah, maybe that is directly referring to events that occurred in ESO. Because Molag Bal, although I have limited knowledge of ESO, Molag Bal plays heavily into that core, its original storyline. The foul energies still linger there, and your resilience grew amidst the danger. Redguard. The most naturally talented warriors in Tamriel. In addition to their cultural affinities for many weapons and armor styles, they also have a hardy constitution and a natural resistance to disease and poison. One of the things I wish here is that under stats, and I'm sure it'll give us this when we're exiting the sewer to remake our character if we so desire. We'll probably get it there, but we're not getting any numbers or information on these other things. Like, what do you mean hardy constitution? Natural resistance to disease and poison? How much are we talking, right? We only get these baseline stats. We don't get stuff like, what spells do you start with? Junk like that. What's your greater power that you can use once per day? Because, of course, in the preceding game, in Morrowind, Redguard had probably, I would argue, the best greater power that you could use per day, at least for any type of melee or archery, physical martial weapon type of character. It really let you get away with landing a shitload of hits early on when you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Anyway, Dragontail Mountains. Your uprising under the shadow of the mountain peaks was a happy one. Immersed in Redguard customs, you develop charm, wit, and the ability to turn a conversation around. Alkir Desert. I guess we can show these stats as well. Why not? As a child in the sands of the Alkir Desert, your education revolved around martial might. You're a prime example of why Redguards are the best warriors. Alright, High Elf. Also known as Altmer, in their homeland of Somerset Isle, the High Elves are exceptionally gifted in the arcane arts. They also boast resilience to illness. However, they are somewhat vulnerable to fire, frost, and shock. You could choose to be originating from Auradon. Born on the island of Auradon, you were proud to live on the first island of the Somersets. There you spent countless hours swimming in the pristine waters. And in Somerset Isle itself, you grew up among the great towers of Alinor that nearly touch the sky. You spent countless hours climbing and navigating the sunlit streets of the Somerset capital. And Dunmer, who I am, of course, going to pick here, but we'll read through everybody, all right? Dark Elf, also known as Dunmer in their homeland of Morrowind. The Dark Elves are noted for their skilled and balanced integration of the sword, the bow, and destruction magic. They're resistant to fire and can summon an ancestral ghost for aid. Origin Mainland. As a Dunmer on the mainland, you grew amongst all kinds of traders. You learned all there was to know about negotiations. And how to make people react the way you need them to. Mind you, the folks who are doing and have done the remaster, I believe the studio that worked primarily on it, and they have a whole bunch of different studios around the world, but I think the one that chiefly contributed to the remaster is their Francophone, their French studio. Hence, why there may be some grammatical errors here or there in unique stuff that they added, which would be this, right? But it gets the main point across, right? Anyway, all kind of traders is very fascinating, given, that Great House Drace operates on the mainland primarily. And, well, we all know what they trade in, right? Primarily, at least. Vardenfell. You are a true child of Vardenfell. Amongst the volcanic wasteland, you were taught that resilience is the greatest of all Dunmer quality. Orc. The people of the Rothgarian and Dragontail Mountains. Orcish armorers are prized for their craftsmanship. Orc troops in heavy armor are, I'm surprised that's not bolded, are among the finest in the Empire and are fearsome when using their Berserker Rage, which I think here in Oblivion, Berserker Rage is super duper powerful, right? I think that's the one that's, as far as like martial classes are concerned, Berserker Rage is super strong, I want to say, if I remember correctly. Stronghold. Oh. Your fate was decided when you were born. As a member of a stronghold, you would serve your chieftain with honor and would make the orcs proud. Your charisma and resilience were honed for when you'd serve. Orsinium. You're proud to have been raised in Orsinium, where you train to be as versatile a warrior as possible. As such, you're better with magic than most other orcs. Nord? Citizens of Skyrim. They are a tall and fair-haired people. Strong and hardy, Nords are famous for their resistance to cold. They are highly talented warriors. Eastern or Western Skyrim? Eastern, either due to extreme snowstorms, the College of Mages, or simply stubbornness. The people of Eastern Skyrim, such as you, are known for their tenacity and resourcefulness. Right. So we're not including, like, the Reach. Right? We're primarily up there in the northern section when it comes to the east. Yeah, okay. Same goes for the west. You lived in the west of Skyrim, a rugged environment filled with rough terrain and dangerous beasts. You are prepared to survive in even the most challenging climates. Breton? In addition to their quick and perceptive grasp of spellcraft, even the humblest of Bretons can boast a resistance to magical energies. They're particularly skilled at summoning and healing magic. Right. Now, as far as like an all-rounder, Breton is probably the way to go, right? If I remember correctly, they have the innate... Is it 50 or 25% magicka resistance in Oblivion? It's really powerful. It's really strong. Alright. Sistries? I have no idea how to say that. I've never heard of this. As a child, you were always spending time on the docks of one of the islands, gaining some money by helping merchants carrying their goods and learning from their adventures. High Rock. Is that a different font? No, okay, I'm tripping. Being from High Rock, you were raised in the homeland of the Bretons. Going through all the great cities of the province made you quick on your feet. Argonian? Looking very different, it's got to be said. Really wild. This reptilian race, well suited for the treacherous swamps of its homeland, has developed natural immunities to poisons. They can breathe underwater and are good at picking locks. Thornmarsh. Thornmarsh, your birth region, is called the Jewel of the East, but behind the nickname lies a darker reality. You dabbled in magic just to survive, and your quick wits allowed you to live until this day. Arnesia. You hail from Arnesia, where the slavers are... Yeah, the traders. The mainland traders we heard about not too long ago. Where the slavers of Morrowind are still active. The hide and seek, every time there was a raid, made you extremely quick and nimble. Jesus Christ. Okay, cool. Alright, let's see. Khajiit? Hailing from the province of Man, look at the Khajiit. Damn, okay. Hailing from the province of Elsewhere, they are intelligent, quick, and agile. They make excellent thieves due to their natural agility and unmatched acrobatic skill. All Khajiit can see in the dark. Can be from Anakina? Or is it Aniquina? I think it's Anakina, right? The harsh region where you lived and trained hardened your body and taught you how to defend yourself with your bare fists or any weapon you could find. Palatine? Your parents lived in Palatine, and your childhood memories are filled playing and running around in the jungles or on the pristine beaches. Okay. And we will definitely go with Vardenfell Dunmer. Sorry. I'm a creature of habit. Let's do some randomization here. Oh my god. Let's see, if I flip around, does it go back? Yeah, it does. Let's just get a look here of what we're dealing with. This is wild, dude. You can definitely feel the potato coming through, as it were. Oh yeah, you can. The potato is coming through. Okay, well, let's start from the base here. And then let's, if I click on this, yeah, I go over to body. Okay. Can I zoom in here at all? I cannot. But that's fine. We're not exactly going to see a close-up of my character. I want kind of old. How old is super old? Oh, it is super old. Okay. Let's see. Maybe right about there. Okay, I kind of like that. Is this changing in real time as I'm going through here? Yeah, I think so. Okay. There we are. That looks kind of good. Next over. Oh, we're a bit closer now. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's skip over head and go immediately to hair real quick. Oh yeah, I forgot they have length. Oh. Okay. I mean, we gotta go with the iconic Dunmeri mohawk, right? We gotta go with that. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, I want a very, like, darkish black, if not ashen. Okay. This looks more brown to me, though, but it may be the interior lighting. Eyebrow color. Yeah, that looks darker to me. Okay, that's good then. Alright. Now, if I change style, does the color remain? Yeah, I think so. Oh, hell yeah. The cream. The cream of the crop, baby. Part of me is tempted, you know, like when in Rome. Should we get the creamy man hairdo? There it is. Golly. Should we? Oh my god, I'm quite tempted by it. It's gotta be said. Should I go for it? No. No. Because when we do meet the creamy man, then what will be the case, right? What will happen? Can't both be creaming it up. It'll take some of the luster away from those who are creamed up. Sorry, I always... it's an old habit that I developed from our original Oblivion playthrough years ago on this channel, where I sort of lovingly referred to this as the creamy man haircut, and the adoring fan I referred to as the creamy man, because it looks like a big dollop of, like, whipped cream on top. Okay, but yeah, we'll go for the Dunmary Mohawk, my personal eternal favorite. Oh my god, what the fuck? You can have a beard now? Huh. Wow, well you should be sent straight to Oblivion, straight to the Deadlands if you use a beard. Right? This is one of the things with the original game. You couldn't have a beard. There was only one character, as far as I remember, there was only one character in the entirety of Oblivion who had a beard, who had any type of actual facial hair. For the rest of everyone else, it was always that kind of like darkened gradient, almost like this, right? There wasn't any actual physicality, there wasn't any like mesh or model sticking out of your face. Yeah, same goes for a mustache here. Holy hell. Okay. Yeah. But the one character who did have facial hair was none other than Sheogorath in the Shivering Isles. Okay. But yeah, I can't do facial hair. Right? You know, bless up to all those who do, but it ain't me. Not in Oblivion. Okay. Oh yeah, let's bring the brow ridge down, baby. Let's bring it down. Inner ridge. Outer. Okay. Perfect. What is this tone? Oh. Weird. Oh my gosh. Do they just have every option available here? Oh yeah, look, there's some, like, more animalistic ones as well. Yeah. Khajiit and Argonian options present. Who has eyes like this? Yeah, who normally has eyes like these? The heck? I don't know. Still, we gotta go with those, cursed Dunmary reds, right? Skin tint. I can tint the skin? Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Okay. Huh. Damn, I kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. Eyelids pale versus red. Okay, we'll go like that. Sockets bright versus bruised. Okay. Cheeks blush versus light red. And we'll keep it in the middle. Cheekbones pale versus flushed. Keep it like that. I wonder if there'll be any character morphing for vampirism. I would assume so, right? Okay, no freckles, I think. Makeup. Can I get like a face tat or something? I don't think so. You couldn't in Oblivion, mind you. Or like normal Oblivion back in the day. Let's see here. There we go. We'll have the lips be a little bit differentiated from the rest. Good. Eyeshadow. Do I want eyeshadow? Where does it even appear on me? Oh, I see, at the top. Maybe I want some dark eyeshadow, right? Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah, really makes the eyes pop. You know, like eyeshadow. Okay, cheeks. Concave or convex? We'll go with concave. Get that really, like, gaunt Dunmer vibe going on. Gaunt around. Okay. Yeah, what am I changing here? How are these not, like, the same? Okay. Good. Cheekbones, low or high. Right there. Shallow or pronounced cheekbones. Okay, yep. I want the ridges around the eyes to really be popping. Thin versus wide. Okay. Let's kind of go with thin because it'll silhouette better with the mohawk. Chin forward or backward? Probably forward a bit. There we go. Recessed or pronounced? That's not the term I would use for that, but I gotcha. Okay, good. Retracted or jutting? See, I would call this underbite, overbite. That looks good. Shallow, deep? For our jowls here. Would you call that jowls? I guess so. That looks good. Small, large. Oh, okay. Shrink it down a bit. Okay. Short, tall. Probably want tall. There we are. Bring it down to 75. Thin or wide? Okay. See, I feel like some of these are redundant. I'm not sure what we're changing different. Okay, the eyes. Up or down? That looks fine. Small versus large. I think keeping it at roughly 0 is appropriate. Inward or outward tilt? Inward tilt it is. Apart or together? There we go. Slightly more together. Face. Brow, nose, chin. This is just a slider for all three. That's wild. Oh, I see. Brow, nose, chin. Gotcha. Okay. Keep it down a bit. Good. Up here. Bring it back a bit, that way the eye ridge really protrudes a good chunk. Yeah, there we go. That's good. Big fan of that. Okay, light, heavy. Oh, I see. Okay. Let's go right about there. Gaunt versus round. See, I feel like this is also changing stuff that we had changed a bit before. I think we'll keep it there. Thin versus wide. Keep it a touch on the thinner side. Like I said, I want to be mindful of the silhouette produced by the mohawk. Okay, forehead. Small versus large. There we go. Short versus tall. I'm down for a little bit on the taller side. There we are. Back versus forward. Okay. I think that's good. Jaw. Retracted versus jutting. Oh. Well, this seems familiar. I think right about there was fine. Okay. Thin versus wide. Okay. There we are. That seems good to me. Jaw, neck, slope, low, high. Okay. Yeah, we want that really, like, gaunt look for Dunmer. Jawline. Try and keep it a bit more on the narrow end. Very pointed. Okay. How about the mouth? Drawn versus pursed. Keep it right about there. Sad versus happy. Well, we're Dunmer. Maximum sad. Right, let's see. Maybe we can even... Yeah, there we go. Low versus high. Good. Retracted versus protruding. Retracted's probably the way I want it to go. Yep. Okay. Tilt. There we are. That's good. Underbite, overbite. Oh, here we go. Oh, I see. I'll keep it at 0. Mouth-chin distance. I think we'll keep it right there. Bring it down a little bit. Okay, lips deflated versus inflated. Go right there. Small versus large. Go right there, I think. Retracted versus puckered. Okay, looks good to me. And nose. Down versus up. Okay. Flat versus pointed. Eke a little bit into the pointed realm of things. Short versus tall. Keep it about as is. Angling it. We'll keep it about in the middle. Concave, convex. I see. We'll keep it where it was. The nose, I think, I was mostly happy with. Bridge, shallow, deep. Seems fine. Short, long. Nostrils. We'll shrink them a bit. Okay. Up or down. Go like that. Sellian. Okay, that's good, I think. Up, down here. Go up a bit. Thin versus wide. Thin, I think. Okay, lower Sellian, shallow, deep. Okay. Now let's also go back to the chin here. Change that around a bit. There we go. Good. All right, I'm liking it. Cheeks a bit. Let's mess around here a little bit. Good. Cheek bones, low, high. Okay. Great. Okay, and then tone, we've done all that. Body, we've messed around with that. Do I want to change your complexion anymore? Sure enough, we can change around the skin a bit more. I do kind of like that. Could also get a bit more of a bluish tint going on. Right, like that's not terrible either. At least in this light. Yeah, I almost feel like the blue works good with the gray. Gives it like a blue undertone, so then like the eyes pop a bit more. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. Hair is fine. Oh, that's good. The salt and pepper, I don't like the look of it. I feel like I want the hair to be even darker, though. But I don't know the way in which I would go about that. Once again, though, it may just be the lighting. Because I think that's the best we can do. Right? Yeah, I like the look of that. Sort of my, my thinking, my background for my character. I'm thinking, since this is so shortly after the events of Morrowind, right? In Oblivion, I really enjoyed coming up with the idea that my character was previously an ordinator, is like an old retired ordinator. Right? And maybe they suffered like a crisis of faith, and they also had like the big Hand of Almalexia tattoo. Since we're missing stuff like that, like we can't get a big Hand of Almalexia tattoo. Maybe my thinking is, right? And I should probably mention this in the core video as well, rather than just the character generation. But I would maybe go for saying, since we're from Vardenfell, we recently arrived in the Imperial City Prison not too long ago. We haven't been here like forever, right? But I like the idea that perhaps we got here by way of having been a dissident priest on the run from persecution of the temple during the events of Morrowind, right? We were nearly caught by the Tribunal Temple, but in order to escape them and escape imprisonment before the events of Morrowind and the Nerevarine prophecy really kicked in and all of that, we were almost imprisoned in like Bardau, but we expatriated ourselves. We like ran over to Cyrodiil and got arrested for something else in Cyrodiil, in the Imperial City. Because, of course, being a dissident priest isn't technically illegal there, but we would get arrested for something else because our character feared more being arrested and incarcerated in Bardal, being a dissident priest, being arrested by, like, the Ordinators. My character was more afraid of the Ordinators than they were of the Imperial Legion. Thus, they chose to, like, sort of take a fall, like, very obviously commit a crime and get caught and get imprisoned in the Imperial City because it seems safer to them than the alternative, right? Anyway, that's sort of what I'm thinking. I think we'll call it here for now for this fun character creation video. When next we return, we'll be ready to play, right? In proper, right? All right. I'll see you in the proper video. If you want to get back to it, there should be like a link somewhere in the description, pinned comment, maybe an end screen or something popping up very shortly here. Anyway, see you there.